Have you ever stopped to think about how that person who once called you my world, my everything, now can't even muster the energy to type a hey? Yeah, what used to be love has turned into a quick scene and a half-hearted double tap. And there you are, pouring your heart out in lengthy texts loaded with affection, attention, and care. Congrats. You've become her personal hotline that she conveniently ignores. And while you're playing a supporting role in your own love story, where is she? Up in her Instagram story, flashing that smug smile like you're invisible, out with her friends, laughing, living, basically living without you. And there you are, acting like a love detective, trying to figure out when you lost her. But let's be real, Sherlock of feelings, that's not even the right question. The real question is, when did you lose yourself for her? Because that's how the modern tragedy of the nice guy begins. You keep giving, keep sacrificing, keep molding yourself, until you're nothing more than a beta version of who you once were. And guess what the ending is? You become predictable, always available, the I'm up for anything guy. And then, my friend, you stop being the prize and turn into the freebie. And what do women do with a freebie? Exactly. They toss it aside. No warning, no thanks, no nostalgia. Just the blunt silence of seen last. But hold up, the drama isn't over yet. Spoiler alert. The next chapter doesn't have to be you crying in the bathroom while Marilia Mendonça plays in the background. There's a move that completely turns the tables. An attitude that makes her miss what she barely even remembers having. It stings, but not her. It stings her own ego. The catch? Almost nobody has the guts to pull it off. But if you do, oh man, you're about to witness the miracle of a love resurrection. Now take a deep breath, because what comes next isn't some Instagram pickup artist trick. It's a gut-wrenching dose of reality, a transformation from the ground up. And it all starts when you stop playing the sidekick in your own story. Oh, and before we dive in, you already know, this video exists because someone with more self-respect than you hit like and subscribed. So do your part for that digital dignity, like, subscribe, and drop a thanks in the comments. Not for me, but for the algorithm. Because that's how this emotional punch reaches more people still crawling after someone who's already left them in the dust. Ready? Let's cut the crap and get straight to the point. Because comfort is for pillows. Here it's raw, unfiltered, and no sugarcoating. Number 1. The reality you pretend not to see, even with binoculars. Come on, champion of denial. It's time to take off those blinders and accept the truth your dog's been picking up on. She isn't ignoring you 'cause she's busy. She's ignoring you 'cause, get this, she simply doesn't care anymore. No, she didn't forget to reply. And no, she's not confused about her feelings. The only confusion here is you thinking you're still a priority in the life of someone who's already relegated you to the background. The harsh truth, like an overdue bill you've been dodging, is this. You've become emotionally cheap. A clearance sale version. A free sample that comes in a little sachet. She's figured out that with just a snap of her fingers, there you are, grinning foolishly, typing, "You okay?" as if a 3-day radio silence was just a tiny emotional nap. Buddy, even a bank app responds faster and you're still calling that love? You've become predictable. And you know what's worse than being ignored? Being utterly obvious. You're that movie she's seen 17 times, no longer even good as background noise while she scrolls through her phone. No surprises, no tension, no emotion. And because of that, you've lost your value. When a woman stops seeing you as someone valuable, guess what she does? She simply moves on, like nothing ever happened, as if you never existed. She hangs out with others, posts carefree stories, and stashes you in an emotional drawer right next to that broken charger she swears might come in handy someday. And you? You think it's cute to keep trying. Sending messages, forcing conversations, offering attention like it's some grand reward instead of punishment. Congratulations. You've become her free refill at the emotional cafe. The one nobody asked for but always shows up. The saddest part. Deep down you know it. You feel that she no longer respects you, that the magic is gone. And here's the most pitiful part. You'd rather pretend it's just a phase than admit that you dug your own emotional grave with your desperate neediness. Let me drop the spoiler. Things don't go back to normal, because what killed her desire was your predictability, your passiveness, your endless availability. You became a doormat, and nobody wants a doormat. But hold the drama. The salvation is on the way, because in the next step, you're going to learn that you don't need to beg, make a scene, or send a tear-stained text. The most powerful weapon at your disposal now? Silence. That's right. The same silence she uses to ignore you, but this time, wield it with dignity and a touch of venom. Number 2, the silence that screams louder than a broken-hearted text. Ready for another dose of truth with a bite of vinegar? Buckle up, cause the next move is a knockout wrapped in iron gloves, no mercy. Want to know what she least expects from you in this little emotional theater she directs, produces, and stars in? Silence. Absolutely no messages, no heart emojis, no good morning, princess. Because up until now, you've been nothing more than an echo on the move. Every time she ignores you, you send a, "Hey, stranger." Every disappearance prompts you to check in. Every cold shoulder is met with a clingy, caring message. Congrats, you've become her Scooby-Doo sidekick, always on a mission to track down her attention. She's memorized the script. She disappears and you pop up. She ignores and you keep pushing. She treats you with ice-cold indifference, and you respond with the warmth of a needy hug. And that's when silence comes crashing in like a slap without a hand. When you quiet down, she starts to think. When you back off, she begins to wonder. And when you truly vanish, she starts feeling. And no, it's not just missing you because you're special. It's feeling her own ego crumble as her favorite emotional toy suddenly stops working. Because a well-played absence hurts more than 1,000 desperate presences. Silence is that unspoken note yelling, "I'm done. I'm not your doormat anymore." You lost control of this soap opera. But don't go acting like a rebellious teen ghosting, thinking this is some game. It's not a game. It's stance. It's finally grasping that the more you talk, the more you diminish yourself. That every attempt at working things out only lowers your self-worth. And that the louder you shout for attention, the clearer it becomes that you're lacking. The magic? It happens when she, used to your clingy, syrupy presence, starts getting annoyed by your empty silence. She'll start checking your status, rereading old chats, looking for signs. Why? Because you've turned into a mystery. And mystery, my friend, has always been far more alluring than desperate neediness. This silence is the sharp knife that cuts off the cycle of neglect. No yelling, no slam doors, no theatrics. Just a simple demand that you finally show some courage. Courage to not reply. Courage to stop chasing. Courage to let her feel the weight of what you once were when you stop being there. But hey, silence alone won't save you. If you vanish and remain the same clueless fool, that's not strategic silence. It's cowardly running away. Instead, use that time to evolve into someone better. Then, if you choose to come back, do it as the prize she lost. Number 3, self-worth. Yeah, that concept you thought was just Instagram. Coach talk. So, when will she finally see you differently? When you stop looking like a desperate plea for attention on legs? No, you don't need to become the next Tesla CEO or a supermodel in your undies. But you do need to stop playing bit part in her drama. Right now, your value mirrors how you treat yourself. If you see yourself as a disposable accessory, guess how she'll treat you? Exactly like that lost earring she never bothered to find. While you keep orbiting her like a needy little planet, she'll continue reigning like the only star in her universe. You've become her emotional satellite, shining only when reflecting her light. Pathetic? A bit. Reversible? Absolutely. Here's where the game changes. What really flips the script isn't trying to impress her, it's becoming impossible to ignore. And that starts with what no one notices: stance, decision-making, limits. In other words, stop accepting scraps as if they were gourmet dinners. Self-worth means no longer begging for attention and starting to demand respect just by being you. It begins in front of the mirror. Not to boost your ego, but to remind you that your body is your business card. Want respect? Take care of yourself. Because a man who cares for himself exudes discipline, control, and presence. Things that make anyone stop and think, "Whoa, something's different here." Then, feed your mind. Read, learn, evolve. Because nothing is sexier than someone who's switched from desperate mode to under construction, not waiting on a message, because they're busy getting better. Your social life. Yeah, it matters. Stop living in that cave. Stop revolving your life solely around her. Live a little. Meet new people, laugh, explore. And no, this isn't to make her jealous. It's to show yourself that the world keeps spinning even when you're not its center. And when you do that, guess what happens? You stop being predictable. You stop being easy. You become rare. And everything rare irks those who once took you for granted. She'll look at you differently the day she realizes that access has been revoked. The man who once accepted everything now only accepts what he deserves. And the best part? You don't need to send long texts or drop passive-aggressive hints. Your new behavior will speak for you. But hold your excitement. There's one more golden rule coming. Scarcity breeds value. Before that, let's be blunt. Soldier of neediness. Tired of being the deluxe doormat, the one that accepts any trash and even thanks while smiling. Then today's the day to stop this pathetic theater. In the description, there's a digital book that'll hit you with a reality check and teach you to stop being that disposable, nice guy. You'll learn how to put any woman in her place with class, but without mercy. Because at the end of the day, either you assert yourself, or you keep playing the emotional clown. Choose wisely. Number 4, the law of scarcity. What disappears comes back even stronger. Now we've reached the point where the emotional clown finally takes off the makeup, puts away the red nose, and stops performing for free. Brace yourself, because this one's stronger than 10 of her consecutive stories with another guy. Let's be honest again. You've become a luxury accessory no one wants to wear anymore. And know why? Because you're always there. Available. Accessible. Predictable. A Wi-Fi hotspot with no password. Now listen to a lesson even capitalism gets better than you do. Anything in excess loses its value. And you, my friend, have become the emotional equivalent of air. She breathes you in, barely notices you're there because you're always there. But when do we value air? When it's missing, right? When we choke, suffocate, freeze up. That's when desperation kicks in. That's exactly what happens when you finally learn to vanish. The human mind is programmed to appreciate what might be lost. And the heart? Oh, the heart loves drama. It only values what's guaranteed when it's gone. This isn't about playing games. It's about finally stepping off the emotional clearance shelf. Too much presence suffocates. A well-timed absence intrigues. A man who shows up too often becomes just a prop. Talk too much, the mystery fades. Chasing every moment, you become the welcome mat. Now here's the curious part. The moment you step back, stop sending good morning texts, stop stalking her stories, stop being the first to comment gorgeous on every selfie. Something magical happens. She starts wondering, did he give up? Did he meet someone new? Wait, did I lose him? Congratulations. You've activated that part of her brain that hates not knowing. You've become the enigma, the puzzle. the plot twist she never saw coming. And that's the beauty of scarcity. She doesn't shout, it whispers. She won't throw herself to the floor. She makes her presence known like an expensive perfume, just a single spritz enough to leave a lingering memory and a nagging doubt. And the best part, this isn't about her at all. It's about you. About stopping the self-sale like a cheap market product. About realizing that those with true value never beg, they demand. With class. With absence. With posture. Now that you've absorbed this lesson like a hard-hitting wake-up call, get ready for the next stage. Because if you really want her to notice your evolution, don't say a word. Show her. And where? On the modern-day stage of the ego, social media. Get set, because the next round is all about the subtle and deadly art of turning your profile into a battlefield of emotions. Number 5, social media. The battlefield where you become the weapon. Does she still follow you? Doesn't matter. Do you really think a woman who's interested in her ex needs to hit that follow button? They dig deeper than the FBI in a cheesy telenovela finale. Yes, she's watching. Even with that air of, who cares? She clicks. Curious, silent, obsessive. Now, the burning question. What does she see when she visits your profile? Does she see an emotional zombie living on memories? That needy soul posting sappy quotes like, everything passes against a gloomy, rainy backdrop? Or does she find a man on the move, smiling, living, evolving, and, worst of all for her, moving on? You don't need to rub it in her face. Just leave some hints, because what crushes the ego of someone who lost you most is allowing their imagination to do the heavy lifting. Post-light, genuine moments of honest happiness. You don't need to pose like you're in a margarine commercial. Just show that life kept spinning without her, that the world moved on, and guess what? You did too. Subtle digs? Forget it. That just shows you're still living rent-free in her head. Provocative posts? Childish. Vanishing from social media like you got kicked out and curled up in a fetal position? Even worse. You're not hiding. You're building. New photos, new places, new people, new energy. Nothing forced. Nothing theatrical. Just real. Because a woman senses what isn't spelled out. She'll notice. The new haircut. That firmer gaze. A lighter, more relaxed posture. And that sparkle that says, I'm good. And even better without you. Here comes the real finesse of emotional revenge. The more you live, the more she feels your absence. The more you grow, the more she compares you to the desperate man she dismissed. And you know what will happen? In the dead of night, between one story and the next, she'll lay her head on her pillow and wonder, would he still let me in? And for the first time, the fear of truly losing him might just knock on her door. But here's the cherry on top. What if she comes back? What if she sends that classic, hey stranger message, trying to hitch a ride back into your life? In the next chapter, you'll learn how to respond without falling back into the trap. Because now, my friend, the choice is yours. Number 6, and if she comes back, spoiler, she will. Yes, she'll come back. Maybe with that classic, hey stranger, as if she just tripped over her keyboard. Maybe with a random emoji like a slice of pizza at 2 a.m. Or the most common, she becomes a VIP spectator of your stories every single day, waiting for you to take the bait. But here's the nuclear warning you need tattooed on your forehead. Don't confuse coming back with regret. Often she doesn't return because she genuinely missed you. She comes back to check if she can still control you. If you're still that obedient puppy wagging your tail every time your phone dings from her. She wants to confirm that you're still there, parked in the same emotional spot, ready to serve another round of free affection. So what do you do when that ghost shows up? First, keep your cool. No over-the-top responses like you've been counting the seconds for her message. No, oh my gosh, I missed you so much. Don't open your heart. You're not running a customer service hotline for hope. You're a new man now. Act like it. Second, understand the new game. Before, you were the disposable piece. Now, you're the board. She didn't come back to choose you. She returned to test you. And if you don't pass, well, that's on her. Anyone who wants back into your life now needs to know the door is locked. You've changed. You've grown! And the only ones allowed in are those who come with respect, not selective nostalgia. Third, observe. Don't get fooled. Is she really interested or just bored? Does she want to rebuild or just check if you left a crack in your emotional fortress? Don't be tempted to believe that she came back because she loves you. Sometimes she's just back because no one else did. And most importantly, Don't bargain away your peace. If her return stokes old wounds or insecurities, think twice. Not every hey stranger deserves a reply. Sometimes the best response is the deafening silence she taught you. You don't need further proof of love. You need coherence, respect, reciprocity. But wait, here comes the biggest enemy of your progress. The temptation to relapse. That moment when you're winning, climbing, and suddenly you trip over your own ego. Let's talk about that. Number 7, the fatal mistake, the damn relapse. Also known as when the hero of the story decides to flush all that hard-earned progress down the toilet in a moment of emotional Black Friday. Ready to face the truth? No anesthetic? Brace yourself. This rewrite burns more than a late-night call. Congratulations, champ. You made it this far. You managed to step back, rebuild your image, pull off a disappearance worthy of an Oscar. She missed you, showed up out of nowhere, and you slipped. You opened your heart like it was an emotional clearance sale. You went back to giving attention as if nothing ever happened. You surrendered as if she'd never treated you like recycled trash. As if the void, the cold shoulder, and the humiliation were just a cute misunderstanding. That's the fatal mistake. The damned relapse. Betraying yourself in bold letters stamped with neediness. Because you know what made you grow. The pain. What turned the game around. The neglect. And when you come running back like a needy golden retriever just because she stirred something, you toss it all away. She notices. She feels. And you know what happens? She loses respect. All over again. Because the lesson you thought you'd learned was just an act. A pose of overcoming built on shaky ground. And then comes her cruel thought. He didn't learn anything. Result? She goes back to treating you the same or worse, because now she knows. No matter how much you grow stronger, all it takes is one hey from her to turn you into emotional dust. A relapse is emotional cowardice against yourself. It's abandoning who you are just to ease that nagging longing with interest and penalties. It's trading progress for crumbs. It's shredding your dignity just to feel that old affection that always ends in disrespect and regret. So take note, this is a harsh truth. Missing someone is normal. Feeling the absence is human. But accepting back what destroyed you is high-level emotional foolishness. Want to keep your power? Keep the behavior that built it. That demands stance, firmness, and self-control. You don't sell yourself for a hey. You don't give in for a memory. You rebuilt your image so you wouldn't be cast as a mere extra in her story. And here's the delicious part. If you don't relapse, she'll start to feel the real effects of your absence. She'll realize that the game has changed, and you're no longer at her disposal. In the next step, you'll learn to read the signs, because when the absence starts to hurt for real, that's when the desperation hits. Number 8, signs that she's really missing you. Also known as when that emotional ghost starts banging on the pot for attention. If you've made it this far, congratulations. Now it's time to spot the symptoms of her withdrawal. From you. You disappeared. You changed. You finally shed that emotional doormat badge. And now, she's feeling something. Sure, she feels it. But don't expect her to send a heartfelt letter saying, "I'm sorry. Come back." Oh no. She'll pull out that old playbook of subtle manipulation. Time to open your eyes without losing your mind. First sign, the zombie likes. Out of nowhere, she starts liking a 3-month-old photo of yours. You post a story and there she is, reacting with a cry or a flame. Sure, it looks accidental. Spoiler, it's 100% on purpose. She's poking at the relationship coffin to see if the dead man still answers. Second sign, poetic digs on her feed. Suddenly, phrases like, "A true love lost is never replaced," begin to appear on her profile. Or that song with lyrics that sound like they were written just for you, against you. Not poetry, just emotional provocation with a retro filter. Third sign, small talk at full throttle. She texts, "Hey, do you still have that book I lent you in 2019? Or saw this meme and thought of you." Translation, "I'm looking for some trivial reason to invade your peace." Fourth sign, the infiltrator friends. Out of the blue, a mutual friend starts following you. Someone from her circle comments on something you posted. Or worse, weird questions pop up like, "So, are you seeing someone?" Yep, she sent in her spies. Just couldn't muster the courage to appear herself. Fifth sign, that ghostly presence. She doesn't comment, but watches every single one of your stories. She pops up at the very top of your viewers like an emotional GPS. She's ghosted your WhatsApp, yet turned into a detective of your digital routine. Before you start grinning like you've won love, hold up. Missing someone doesn't mean there's been a change. She might be feeling your absence, sure, but that doesn't mean she's learned anything. Sometimes it's just an injured ego. Sometimes it's pure insecurity. Sometimes it's just the fear of seeing you thrive without her. So here's the golden rule. Observe, notice, but don't chase. Because now the game is yours. Stick with the stance, the consistency, the self-control. And the next move is all yours. You're no longer a sidekick waiting for crumbs of attention. You're the one who decides if this story continues, or if it ends with her banging on the door you've locked from within. Number 9. When the tables turn, you decide whether the story continues. Or, as I like to call it, the moment the ex-doormat becomes the CEO of his own emotional life. If you've withstood every slap with dignity and fended off the relapse like a monk's willpower, now's the time to put the final cherry on this victory cake. You did what most people only pretend to on social media. You stopped chasing. You dropped the role of the needy extra. You rebuilt your stance, your image, your life. And now, she comes back, all subtle, all rehearsed, all changed. But here's the twist that changes everything. This time, you don't need her anymore. The game has flipped. And the question isn't, does she still love me? It's, do I even want it anymore? Because now you know that attention is a luxury, and unreturned affection is just humiliation wrapped in a romantic bow. You finally get that clinging to someone who discarded you is like pounding on the door of someone who already showed you the exit with a side of classless irony. In this new scenario, you're not begging for acceptance, you're choosing. You observe, you test. You no longer fall for words, you read the actions. You can see clearly now whether she came back because she truly changed or just because her ego is wilting. If she shows a new side or just the same old script repackaged. And the biggest win? You're no longer afraid of losing. Because your self-esteem now isn't built on likes, reactions, or her responses. It comes from within. You are the prized nut, that emotional beggar scrambling for scraps of attention. That changes everything. You look at her with a calm that stings. No neediness, no desperation, no hurry. Because when a man heals, he sees clearly. And clarity is the nightmare of anyone who once manipulated you in the dark. And maybe for the first time, it's you who says, it's not worth it anymore. Or, we can try, but it's on my terms now. With rules, with boundaries, with respect. The difference? Now you're not scared of loss anymore. Because you finally learned, worse than losing someone is losing yourself for someone. And with that, my friend, the story takes a new turn. But before you hammer the final nail and close this chapter with class, remember this engraved in your heart. Everything you built up to this point can be undone in seconds. Final conclusion. From despised to unforgettably irresistible. She'll miss you, sure. She'll remember your care, your good mornings, those take cares. That absurd patience you showed when, in reality, she deserved nothing but silence. But now, she'll have to remember it on her own, because you stopped offering yourself like a free sample at the pharmacy. And then comes the phenomenon that demolishes any wall of ego. You've become the man who knows how to walk away, who knows his own worth, who learned that being too available only makes you disposable. And in that moment, you're no longer an option. You become an absence. And an absence that carries weight. Now the choice is yours. You can go back to being the emotional doormat that accepts anything just to avoid being alone. Or you can stay this new version strong, lucid, selective controlling, who comes in and who goes out of your life. But be warned, this demands consistency. It's no good being firm one day and then turning into an emotional puddle at the first sign of relapse. You are what you tolerate. And if you keep tolerating crumbs, you'll end up as a beggar for affection. So, here's the brutal question. Did she lose you? Or did you finally find yourself? Sound off in the comments. Have you ever made someone miss you for real? Or are you still at the I'll try disappearing but I'll sneak a peek at her stories stage? And you know what to do, subscribe now. Because in the next video, I'm revealing the subtle behaviors that kill a woman's interest and how to shield yourself from them before you end up just another name in her blocked list. Because this isn't about winning someone back. It's about becoming someone who'll never beg for respect again. Game over. Now you get to choose who plays with you.